Are you ready to unlock the secrets of living a life fueled entirely by Bitcoin? Imagine a world where every transaction, every investment, and every moment of financial freedom is at your fingertips, all thanks to the power of this digital gold. Welcome back to Bitcoin Basics. Join us as we dive into the thrilling journey of using Bitcoin to its full potential. From savvy shopping tips to smart investment strategies, we're spilling the beans on how to make your life on a Bitcoin standard work for you. Buckle up, because this is not just a tutorial, it's the beginning of your new financial frontier. If you're new to Bitcoin Basics or just beginning your Bitcoin journey, be sure to take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to never miss out on the latest videos. If you want to be a part of a community of other like-minded individuals in Bitcoin, consider hitting the join button on this video to join the Bitcoin Basics Members Club. As a member, you'll get access to our high-signal, members-only chat room and other members-only content. And finally, this video and any other video we publish on this channel are for entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. Before investing in any asset, including Bitcoin, you should do independent due diligence and consult a financial advisor. Before we dive in, here is a question for you. If you ever decide to live entirely off Bitcoin, what obstacles do you believe you will have to overcome? Let me know down in the comments. Now, Bitcoin has come a long way. At some point, even though many recognized it as revolutionary, the only thing you could do with it was hold it and trade. In 2024, there are even more options to accumulate Bitcoin and many places to spend it. Of course, the first step to living off Bitcoin is accumulating it. There would be no Bitcoin to spend if you can't earn it. Indeed, the revenue streams must be sustainable, especially if you want to live off Bitcoin for good or for an extended period. You don't want to diminish your resources quickly and fail to support the lifestyle. Historically, in the early days of Bitcoin, the primary way to accumulate Bitcoin was to mine it. That means acquiring the necessary hardware, sourcing cheap and reliable energy, and joining the peer-to-peer network. By becoming a miner, you helped maintain the shared public ledger on the network and earn the reward in return, which is newly minted coins and the fees users pay to have their transactions processed. Of course, the mining difficulty has grown over time. Nevertheless, if you have the capital, you can acquire the capacity, join one of the mining pools, and earn some Bitcoin for yourself. You could also try to do it through cloud mining. The other way to earn Bitcoin is to work for it. That means selling your skills to companies and startups that pay in Bitcoin. Bitcoinjobs.com is one of the online job marketplaces where you can go to find businesses that can pay for your skills in Bitcoin. If trading your time for Bitcoin isn't your style, you can also create products, including digital products, and sell them for Bitcoin. Shopify, one of the largest platforms for building online stores, offers Bitcoin as a payment option. The benefit of selling a digital product is that it disconnects your time from your money. Theoretically, you could spend the time to create a product once and sell an infinite amount of copies. Of course, your business doesn't have to be strictly Bitcoin related. Any successful business that is profitable can become a Bitcoin company by using the free cash flow at the end of each month to accumulate a stash of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Also, there is the option of investing in Bitcoin-related assets, such as exchange-traded funds and stocks of companies involved with Bitcoin, such as MicroStrategy. As is the case in general finance strategy, diversifying your Bitcoin income is a good idea. That means you can do some mining, sell services and products, create a business, and invest in Bitcoin-related assets all at the same time. With diversification, even within the Bitcoin ecosystem, you can mitigate risks and increase your earning potential. Now that you have built and continue to build your stash of Bitcoin, how can you spend it without converting it to fiat? Bitcoin was designed to function as money. That means it is supposed to be a store of value, a unit of account, and a medium of exchange. By holding your earnings in Bitcoin, you are using the cryptocurrency as a store of value. Regarding its use as a unit of account, that is not a widespread use case, at least not at this point in its history. For this to be the case, businesses must adopt the culture of pricing products, assets, and liabilities in their accounting books in Bitcoin terms. Meanwhile, as someone who wants to live off Bitcoin, a major component of that is paying for the goods and services you need in Bitcoin. That means using it as a medium of exchange. In 2024, it is possible to pay for most things using Bitcoin. Where merchants do not accept Bitcoin, there are convenient walkarounds. Before looking at those walkarounds, let's look at some of the notable brands that will accept your Bitcoin for their goods and services. In most countries, the number of merchants that accept Bitcoin is unfortunately quite small. For most people who don't understand Bitcoin, the inability to buy your daily lunch, groceries, or petrol in Bitcoin is a significant roadblock for them in their understanding of Bitcoin. Now, what are the workarounds? The first walkaround is gift cards. Gift.com and Bitrefill.com, two of the largest gift card marketplaces, accept Bitcoin. That means you can buy gift cards from your favorite brands to use in your day-to-day shopping. The other walkaround is Bitcoin debit cards. These are debit cards supported by mainstream payment rails, particularly Visa and MasterCard. Their major unique feature is that they are loaded from Bitcoin wallets. When you use a Bitcoin debit card, the issuing company, which is usually an exchange or has a partnership with an exchange, automatically converts the Bitcoin into fiat. That means it pays the merchant in the fiat currency that they prefer and keeps the Bitcoin. You can access millions of stores worldwide with Visa and MasterCard branded Bitcoin debit cards. That means you can spend Bitcoin even in stores whose owners know nothing about Bitcoin. Let's discuss other important things you should consider when living on a Bitcoin standard. Adopting a budgeting strategy that fits your income streams is important. You should know how much Bitcoin you can generate in a month. Based on that amount, you should budget to live within your means and save, and to continue growing your stash. An important point to remember while budgeting is that Bitcoin is generally volatile, especially in the short term. That is an issue, especially because merchants who accept Bitcoin directly do not use it as a unit of account. They do not price their goods and services in Bitcoin even though they accept it as payment. That means while the price of a product remains the same at the store, what it actually costs you to buy it depends on the changes in the price of Bitcoin on exchanges. It could help if you make your major purchases at once so that the Bitcoin price movement does not mess up your budget. You should also make it a habit to use the Lightning Network. It will help reduce the transaction fees that you will pay for using Bitcoin. Part of the strategy for living completely off Bitcoin is to find a community of like-minded people. That community can be found online and in the real world. For example, you can connect with others living off Bitcoin on forums like the r/Bitcoin subreddit. You can also move to Bitcoin-friendly locations. They are likely to have more merchants and businesses accepting Bitcoin. For example, El Salvador has embraced Bitcoin, including making it legal tender. If you move or travel to such a location, you will find it easier to live completely off Bitcoin. Of course, if you plan to live for an extended period in a country like El Salvador because of its friendliness to Bitcoin, you should do due diligence to see if its other aspects, such as culture, language, and climate, will suit you. Also, consult experts on the residency options that exist for you as a citizen of another country. When you decide to live on a Bitcoin standard, you must take care of a few other things. One of those is the security of your assets. Remember that Bitcoin is unlike traditional finance, where you can rely on others to protect it. If you lose your keys, for example, or they are stolen, there is no customer support you can contact to recover your Bitcoin. That is why it is important to keep your Bitcoin in a wallet that you have full control over. The wallet, in particular the private keys, should also be kept away from the internet so that they cannot be stolen remotely. Ideally, you should have a hardware wallet or other type of cold storage. If you don't have a hardware wallet, click the link in the description of this video to buy a cold card, my hardware wallet of choice. Meanwhile, you must maintain a backup to recover your keys if you lose the wallet, which is a recovery seed you generate while setting up the wallet. Also, when you choose to live with Bitcoin, consider the legal implications of your revenue generation and spending. That includes taxation regimes and any other regulatory requirements. It is important to educate yourself on these matters. A scenario of living off Bitcoin could look like this. You plan your travel on cheap air, which includes booking flights and accommodation. Most major cities worldwide are supported, meaning you can pay for all your travel and accommodation using Bitcoin. If you need anything from Amazon, you can buy gift cards from Bitrefill using Bitcoin and use those cards to buy anything on Amazon. You can buy gift cards from numerous other merchants on Bitrefill or other similar Bitcoin-accepting marketplaces. For goods and services you cannot buy directly with Bitcoin or through gift cards purchased using Bitcoin, you can rely on Bitcoin debit cards supported by mainstream payment rails, particularly Visa and MasterCard. For example, you may need a Bitcoin debit card from the airport to your hotel room to pay for the taxi. Of course, The Bitcoin debit card might also be handy when traveling to places without a reliable internet connection. It is important to point out that avoiding fiat currencies in some instances might be impossible. For example, if you find yourself in a small town without the internet and with most merchants operating on physical cash, you might have to withdraw cash either from a Bitcoin ATM or a traditional ATM beforehand. Today, many people are successfully living off of Bitcoin. For example, Laura and Ricky are two Italians who travel the world using Bitcoin and document their experiences in their vlog, Bitcoin Explorers. Ben is another Bitcoin enthusiast who lives off Bitcoin and shares his experience on his YouTube channel, BTC Sessions. So do you think living off Bitcoin is possible within your current situation? If not, what needs to change? If you enjoyed this video, check out my video which lays out the Bitcoin retirement strategy video in 4 simple steps.